Hey there and welcome back. I'm Lucas and yet again from another new apartment where I live now. I don't know if this spot will be the default location for the future and upcoming videos, but for now it will serve me well. In this video we will be talking about something that many of you asked me before when I reviewed the JTZ system some weeks back. This little thing here is the JTZ HA-01 Plus, and this is an adapter to be able to use this cage system together with the GH5 XLR adapter as well as modern flashes. So the adapter itself is quite simple. We have a main block which comes on top of the hot shoe of the GH5. Out from it comes another hot shoe adapter which can be mounted elsewhere, as well as a Usbc cable. On top we have a switch here to switch between the functionality. We have normal and JTZ link only, as well as a little activate button. So the setup is pretty straightforward. We just push the adapter on the GH5, as you could imagine, and then we are set up. Now this adapter allows us to put the XLR module or any other modern flash that has at least, I think, 5 or 6 contacts underneath. I'm not too much into flashes. Anywhere else on our rig. So basically you don't need to use this with the JTZ cage, but it makes sense, of course. So for example, we could now just mount it here and then mount our XLR adapter at this position, because of course the main position is blocked. So this adapter is mainly there to be able to use the XLR adapter in another space than the GH5 itself. So this is pretty neat. What we also have though is the Usbc cable, and this is the reason why I'm so much into this adapter, because the Usbc cable now can connect directly to our JTZ cage and power it. So basically we don't need any external power source, because we can use our JTZ HA-01 Plus adapter to power the cage from our camera, rather than a battery pack or something, when you have to go a bit lighter. And it makes it also a little bit more elegant. Even if you like big rigs, I doubt that you really like millions of cables. Together with this adapter we receive a little manual which explains us how we can use this adapter, or how it's supposed to be used. This is mainly for the functionality that we have on top. We have JTZ link only and we have normal. Let's first talk about JTZ only. This means that this adapter is only used to power off our cage and not to use the hot shoe rerouting that we have installed. So we cannot use the XLR adapter or any flash when we have set this to JTZ link only. When we want to use the XLR adapter or an external flash, we have to set it to normal. This will also still power our cage, so the functionality of a powered cage is still in place. However, and this is something that I didn't get around earlier, is that you need to have something in place on the hot shoe adapter so the powering of the cage is working. So basically you cannot set it to normal and just leave it be, because if you have it set it to normal and you don't have anything in place here like right now, the cage won't be powered. However, if you have, for example, the XLR adapter in place, the cage will be powered. So this has to be in place. This is something I didn't know earlier. The activate button on top is not really that important. This is more like a restart if you power up your cage and your camera and the device doesn't get recognized properly. So you just press activate and then it runs. Usually this works out of the box. Sometimes you just have to start it manually. If I switch on the camera, you can see there's a little blue light which indicates that it's running. Now I'm on normal, and as there is no device, it cannot start and it will blink. So when I set it back to JTZ link only, it will constantly be lit and therefore be activated. So I guess I don't have to explain why it's cool that you can just use your XLR adapter on top of your camera or any other flash while it's in the cage or while it's built into something. Now you may ask yourself, what's the big deal with powering the cage? So here's the deal. When you power the cage, you enable a lot more options that are not available if the cage is not powered. I actually showed this wrong in former videos. For example, you have these 4 buttons around the record button on top of your handle, and these buttons are also on the follow focus from the JTZ Link system. And these buttons get a different functionality depending if you have your cage powered or not, and I didn't know this before. So here's a simple example. When I have the cage not powered, so it's not plugged in, and I press the button with the 3 dots on it, it will simply start to record the scene. Now I have it plugged in, and when I now press the button with the 3, it triggers the autofocus rather than just starting the recording, which is pretty neat because you can now handle the camera a bit differently. Additionally, we can do something entirely different with a powered cage, which is something I wanted to show in another video anyway, so I can show it to you now. Basically, I have these 2 things. These are wireless flash triggers. So this is the sender that goes on top of a camera, and this is the receiver, which goes under a flash or something. And with this, we can trigger a second camera from our main camera. So here's how this works. You have to connect the sender directly to the cage. This is important because this thing is connected to our camera and not to the cage. So basically, you cannot use the sender to record or to trigger a record on another camera because it's not connected properly. For this, we have to detach the hot shoe from the adapter, but we can, for example, put it just on top. So we can still use the XLR bundle if you want to. And now we place the sender on top of the cage. So now it gets powered. And as you can see here, when I press it, it gets powered. Now I just can place this on any other camera, and then I have like little output here for a MIDI audio jack. It's like 2.5mm audio jack, the really tiny ones. And now I can connect this to a camera. For example, I'm filming myself right now with my G7, and this could, for example, trigger the G7. So I can hang my G7 anywhere, like have it 10 meters in that direction, trigger the record from my GH5 with the cage. Of course, you have to push the record button from the JTZ Link system, not from the camera itself. And then my G7 will also record from the same time point, which is quite cool actually for event videography, for example. So this is it, the JTZ HA-01 Plus adapter for external devices like the XLR adapter or an external flash. And I'm quite hooked that this exists now because this was like a very, very wanted product from JTZ to be able to use the GH5 to its fullest while still maintaining all the features and benefits that the JTZ system grants us. And what's also quite cool is that you can use this adapter not only on your GH5, not only on the JTZ cages, but also on different devices. So this is actually quite cool that you have this always handy now. And I think this adds a great bit of functionality to the whole system. Of course, you can still use the hot shoe from the cage to provide the wireless triggering and such. So this is really a well thought out system, I think, and it's quite cool. Thank you so much for watching. I hope to be able to do more videos more regularly in the future. I hope to see you next time, and bye.